But I don't know, man. I hate to do this, you know what I mean? Because I was so hype about it. I would say that if I had to rate it, because the story is still promising, it's probably like a 5 or 6 out of 10, 6 at the most out of 10. But like, it's not. Nah, I don't think I don't even know if I'm watching the second season if it ever comes out with one. You know what I mean? But like again, the way it is, usually Netflix will tell you like, hey, it's coming back for another season. They ain't say that. So like I think it's done. It should be done because I don't want it to get worse. Right. So watch at your own discretion. Watch at your own discretion. All right. All right. We're about to wrap this up. So sports, we're getting into sports. So Packers. My Packers are 4-1-1 to start this week. And they had a hard fought game against the Arizona Cardinals. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you're thinking, you're thinking, man, they took the Cardinals down to the wire. They have to be on fraud alert, man. They almost lost to the Bengals. They have to be on fraud alert. And I think sometimes it's just the game script of how these games go. I think in both of those games, well, no, in the Bengals game, we should have had a bigger lead to start, right? We go into halftime with a 10-point lead, and then it's kind of back and forth from that point. With the Cardinals, we were down, and then we had to kind of fight. We had to fight back. But I would say that there's been pockets in our season where our offense has looked slow. Like it's been slow to start. The only time where we were scoring at will, scoring almost every possession, well, it was the Washington game, but then it was the Dallas game because we had to score to kind of keep up with them. Because after we showed that we couldn't stop them, after yeah, I mean, we just had to, and we kept scoring. Like we kept scoring touchdowns. So like our offense has the potential, but the reason why our offense doesn't always look good is because we have a slow paced offense. Like we take our time. And then whenever we have a lead in the second half, it feels like we're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And then we get really conservative with our play calling. I think we have a really good running back that we like to lean on, and he's the type of runner that gets stronger and more clutch as the game goes on. However, that puts a lot of pressure on your offensive line to like because especially when teams are kind of keying in on you, they're putting eight in the box, and then you don't have a lot of the later in the game, you don't have a lot of room for error. You don't have a lot of margin for error. So like, yeah, Josh Jacobs can run for like these gash runs, but then all it takes is for one or two incomplete passes, and then now we're behind the sticks, and then he's getting in it, and it might be a short yardage situation, and he gets tackled for a loss. You know what I mean? Because they made one play. You know what I mean? All the team has to do is make one play on us, and I think that we need to do better on first and second down. I think we do need to pick up the pace a little bit. They say we average like 62 plays a game, and that's low. Like teams be having like 80 offensive plays in a particular game, and we be having like 62, and like we slow the game down. I think they need to speed it up a little bit. They don't got to go like Chip Kelly high tempo offense, but we do need to play a little bit faster, and we need to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands a little bit more so he can make plays. He's not throwing a lot of picks, so he's not turning the ball over. So like put some more trust in him. I know we're waiting for some of these weapons to get back, but like even when the weapons come back and we have all these receivers, are we going to utilize them? You know what I mean? Like it's hard to be a good receiver in this offense because we spread it a little bit too much. We spread it thin a little bit. But yeah, I'm wondering what it's gonna look like. Um, but yeah, so Micah Parsons though, speaking of Micah Parsons, he had the best game of his career against the Cardinals. Literally the best game of his career. He's never had 3 sacks in one game before, and he does it as a Green Bay Packer in his fifth season. Shout out to Micah Parsons. Mike in that game, the Packers against the Cardinals, the Packers had 6 sacks. Micah Parsons had 3 sacks. He would have had a fourth sack, but He got called for the hip drop tackle. So like he didn't get credit for that. So he had 4 sacks. He had 5 quarterback hits, 5 tackles. He was killing.